What's up, PumpTalk Nation? Get ready for a wild ride because we've got breaking news that's going to blow your minds. First up, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is sounding the alarm, telling Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas that Israel's actions in Gaza have entered a terrifying new phase, and it's not just threatening Palestine, but the entire region's stability. Then, we're heading back to the US, where former President Donald Trump is making waves, claiming his administration is actively working to get the Bagram Air Base back from the Taliban. He's got some pretty wild reasons for wanting that strategic spot back, and we've got the details on why this could be a game changer. Next, the European Union is cooking up a bold plan to use frozen Russian assets to fund a massive reparation loan for Ukraine. With US aid potentially slowing down, Ursula von der Leyen and the EU are looking for innovative ways to keep Ukraine's war effort going, and Hungary is not happy about it. And finally, we're switching gears to the world of music and emotion, where the legendary Reba McEntire is sharing her profound thoughts on what truly matters in life and dropping hints about a surprising engagement. We've got all the heartwarming and exciting details. Stick around and make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Erdogan declares Gaza assault a new, dangerous state. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey has issued a stark warning to Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, stating that Israel's ground assault in Gaza has escalated into a dangerous new phase, potentially jeopardizing regional stability. This strong statement, released by Turkey's Communications Directorate, comes as Israel expands its ground operations in Gaza City, the territory's most densely populated area, where nearly 1 million civilians are currently trapped amidst the escalating conflict. Erdogan didn't hold back, citing Israel's earlier strike on Qatar as further evidence that its actions pose a threat beyond Palestine's borders. He highlighted a growing international chorus of criticism against Israel and pledged that Turkey would intensify global pressure. "We are working to increase international pressure," Erdogan stated, vowing that Ankara would continue to champion the Palestinian cause on every international platform. Turkey's immediate priority, he emphasized, is an urgent ceasefire and an end to the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, with plans to act as the primary advocate for Palestine at the upcoming United Nations General Assembly. Adding to the complex geopolitical landscape, the Turkish president also called for greater unity within the Muslim world to confront the Israeli threat, suggesting that full political unity in Palestine would significantly bolster these efforts. This comes amidst reports that the U.S. State Department recently canceled visas for members of the Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO, and the Palestinian Authority, PA, ahead of the UN General Assembly. Meanwhile, several Western nations, including France and the UK, have signaled their intentions to recognize the state of Palestine during the same UN meetings. The UN Independent International Commission of Inquiry on the Occupied Palestinian Territory has also confirmed that Israel has committed genocide in Gaza, adding another layer of gravity to the situation. This escalating situation has sparked significant concern globally, with many watching to see how international bodies and individual nations will respond to President Erdogan's urgent calls for action and the ongoing humanitarian crisis. The potential for wider regional conflict remains a primary focus for analysts and policymakers alike. Don't go anywhere, because the political landscape is shifting dramatically, and we've got more explosive news coming up. Next, we're diving into a shocking claim from Donald Trump about a crucial military base. Trump claims he's trying to reacquire Bagram Air Base from Taliban. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has revealed that his administration is actively engaged in efforts to reclaim the Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan from the Taliban. While details remain scarce, Trump articulated his strategic motivations, citing the base's proximity to a Chinese nuclear weapons facility as a primary concern. He expressed significant disappointment that the base was seemingly abandoned without a plan for its potential return during the U.S. withdrawal under the previous administration. "We gave it to them for nothing. We're trying to get it back, by the way," Trump stated during a press conference, emphasizing the strategic value of the base. We want that base back. But one of the reasons we want the base is, as you know, it's an hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. So, a lot of things are happening, but I am very disappointed in the fact that that one's not settled. The Bagram Air Base, once the largest U.S. military installation in Afghanistan, has been under Taliban control since the chaotic withdrawal of American forces in 2021. The implications of any potential U.S. reacquisition of the base are far-reaching, potentially reshaping regional security dynamics and U.S. foreign policy in the area. The secretive nature of these negotiations fuels speculation about the leverage and strategies being employed by the Trump administration. This development has ignited debate among foreign policy experts and the public regarding the feasibility and wisdom of re-engaging militarily in Afghanistan, particularly given the complex geopolitical landscape involving China and the Taliban's current rule. The focus remains on the specific terms and potential outcomes of these undisclosed negotiations. This strategic chess match could have massive implications, but our next story involves billions of dollars and a potential showdown in Europe. Get ready to hear how the EU plans to use frozen Russian assets to aid Ukraine. EU debates using frozen Russian assets for Ukraine reparation loan. The European Union is exploring innovative financial strategies to support Ukraine's war effort, including the controversial idea of using frozen Russian assets to fund a reparation loan. This proposal, championed by European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, aims to bolster Ukraine's wartime finances at a time when direct U.S. military aid is facing uncertainty. The plan involves leveraging the cash balances of Russian central bank assets frozen in the West since Moscow's invasion of Ukraine, without outright confiscating them, a move that has concerned some member states. This initiative faces a significant hurdle in Hungary, the EU's most Moscow-friendly member, which has consistently opposed measures against Russia and could potentially veto the plan. To circumvent this, officials are considering a mechanism involving a coalition of the willing, a group of EU member states willing to participate, excluding Hungary if necessary. While preliminary discussions have begun, key details regarding the loan amounts and structure remain unclear, with one senior EU official noting that many things, including the amounts, are not clear. Currently, approximately $250 billion of Russian assets are immobilized in Europe, primarily held as cash by the Belgian securities repository Euroclear. The EU has been utilizing the interest generated from these assets to repay a $50 billion loan to Ukraine previously extended by the G7. However, with most assets now in cash form, the interest yield is modest. The proposed new mechanism would involve replacing the Russian assets with zero-coupon bonds issued by the European Commission, potentially backed by guarantees from participating EU countries. This move could allow for greater investment flexibility and potentially higher returns on the frozen assets, as officials believe moving them away from Euroclear would enable long-term investment at better rates. Despite potential guarantees, officials suggest the risk is minimal as long as EU sanctions against Moscow remain in place until Russia fully withdraws from Ukraine. The potential for Hungary to veto further sanctions or EU initiatives is a constant source of tension. However, officials believe that if Hungary chooses not to participate in the intergovernmental guarantees, its smaller economic weight would have minimal impact on the overall success of the plan. The strategy aims to prevent any single member state from blackmailing the EU with a veto, suggesting an intergovernmental agreement might be the most viable path forward. This financial maneuvering is complex, but our next story is all about heart, music, and a surprise announcement. Get ready for some heartwarming news from a country music icon. Reba McEntire shares profound life reflections and announces engagement. During a break from filming season 28 of The Voice, the iconic Reba McEntire offered a glimpse into her philosophy on music and life, sharing deeply personal reflections that resonated with her fellow coaches and fans alike. When asked what makes her hit the red turn button during the blind auditions, McEntire emphasized the emotional connection over technical perfection. "I have to feel it," she explained, noting that it's not just about the strongest vocal runs or highest notes, but an intangible connection that draws her in. She even hinted that this season will feature artists who connect with her on a level that might elude the other coaches. Her profound sentiment about music's lasting impact was further illuminated when fellow coach Michael Bublé inquired about a previous statement. McEntire clarified, "Music is the last memory you'll have before you die." This poignant remark deeply affected Bublé, Snoop Dogg, and Niall Horan, underscoring the powerful, enduring nature of music in our lives. Fans can catch these heartfelt moments and more when season 28 of The Voice premieres on Monday, September 22, at 8/7 on Dramaloop and Peacock. Adding to the excitement, McEntire also shared joyful personal news. While attending the 77th Primetime Emmy Awards on September 14, 2025, in Los Angeles, she confirmed her engagement to her longtime boyfriend and Happy's Place co-star, Rex Linn. The news was revealed during a red carpet interview where correspondent Zuri Hall referred to Linn as McEntire's fiancé. McEntire's beaming smile and affirmative response confirmed the long-awaited union. The beloved couple has been together since 2020, and their engagement has been met with widespread enthusiasm from fans and colleagues. The combination of her insightful thoughts on music and the heartwarming news of her engagement has created a buzz around Reba McEntire, highlighting her enduring appeal and the deep connections she fosters both in her professional and personal life. That's an incredible story of love and music, but we're not done yet. Get ready for a lightning round recap of all the biggest headlines and our full call to action. All right, PumpTalk Nation, let's do a quick recap. President Erdogan is sounding the alarm on a new, dangerous stage in Gaza. Donald Trump claims he's trying to get Bagram Air Base back from the Taliban. The EU is considering a massive loan to Ukraine using frozen Russian assets. And the legendary Reba McEntire is not only sharing deep life insights, but is also engaged. What a show. Now, if you loved this episode, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to PumpTalk News for more breaking updates, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And tell us in the comments which story shocked you the most. Follow us on all social media platforms too.